Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Adrienne Martinez Hollingsworth. I wanted to give you a few updates on what we have going on for winter 2021 and just kind of talk about a couple things that have happened recently. So the first thing is that we did do a big meeting with the entire group to describe recent projects, so that video has been uploaded. If you're looking for research opportunities, I would recommend watching that video and then reaching out with specific questions about individual projects. You can leave a message on the YouTube channel, or you can go to Facebook and private message me from there, and that's probably the best way to get involved. Now, in terms of kind of next steps for all of us for winter 2021, several of our clinical contacts are really going to be joining the vaccine efforts. So some of us are working on site at different locations, and others are doing research projects that are very focused on addressing vaccine hesitation in different communities of color. So again, if you're interested in those efforts or the previously mentioned projects, feel free to reach out. We always invite everyone. There's no gatekeeping here. So if you're just curious or you really have the sense that you want to be a part of a larger project, let us know. So the other issues that I want to talk about are a little personal, but I think they need to be said because it kind of reminds us why we're doing this work. And it certainly gave me a heads up in the last couple of days. So if you are just here for the first time and you're interested in projects, I would recommend that you look at our videos that address our mural work, and some of our vaccine or needle-based interventions that we've done. We did an insulin project at Stanford, and we have some other work going on there. Feel free to check out those videos. Make sure that you follow us and check out Facebook, where we post scholarship opportunities and other events that are coming up. But otherwise, if you're here for the story, go ahead and strap in because some interesting things have happened this week. So on a personal note, many of you know that I have a very close family member who is on dialysis 3 days a week. And part of the complications of end-stage renal disease or just having type 2 diabetes for a long period is that you have slow wound healing whenever you have any sort of mechanical trauma or damage. And so he is in a situation where he had an infection that looked like an ingrown toenail, minor infection. And it ended up being actually quite complicated with some tunneling and some deeper infection. And there are some concerns about potentially osteomyelitis or some other infection that could be septic. And so they sent him for x-rays. It took about, I would say, maybe a week to schedule an appointment in an FQHC, like safety net setting, because he has Medi-Cal. Took a while to get the x-rays. And then once he had the x-ray, it was going to be, we're still waiting, but it was going to be a projected 3 days before they could read the results. And at that point, if the infection was deeper, the recommendation was that he immediately go to an emergency department. So I just want to highlight that experience because I myself have a rotator cuff injury and I sought care yesterday for it. And I want to kind of describe what my experience was like in a very well-funded system that is also very well coordinated because of the way they use electronic health records, and also because it's not for poor people, right? I have insurance that is reflective of my current status as a postdoc fellow. And so my experience was I had an appointment to see an ortho. I showed up on the wrong day because it was just my mistake. So I rolled in without actually having an appointment, and the staff bent over backwards to make sure that I could still be seen. So my wait time showing up blind like that was about 5 minutes. And just before I walked in, they said, you know what, before you talk to the doctor, he wants some x-rays. Can you go to the very next door, the office right next door, and just tell them that you're there for x-rays and they should take you right away. And that's what happened. I walked one door down, so maybe like 30 feet, was taken in and very politely immediately given all of these different x-rays and then told I could go see my doctor. And I did. I just walked right back in, was allowed to go into his office, and my x-rays were available between the time that they were taken and about 5 minutes later. So that's the difference. For something relatively minor, like a rotator cuff injury, a 5-minute wait, essentially, when you have insurance, versus a potentially life-threatening issue that could lead to amputation or sepsis, um, minimum 3-day wait, right? And if you actually think about the time when we made first contact with the providers about our concerns about the toe infection, about a week and 3 days. So it really brought home to me that we are living and breathing these health disparities all the time. But if I wasn't working in this space, I would never know that there is that big of a difference. I would just kind of assume that my reality is reality. And I think that's something that we need to really confront. Because if you come to work with Theory Generator Playground, you're coming as a first generation or minority student, and you may not even be an ethnic or racial minority. You might just be somebody who comes from maybe a rural background and you don't have this background in healthcare, and neither does anyone in your family, right? You just don't have the context um, for what care is like when you have the money, but you do have the context for what it's like when you're directly, personally facing health disparities. And that information is so critical in this conversation that we're trying to have around health equity. So I just wanted to share that story, and I actually think that's sufficient. I had another similar instance happen this week, which we can talk about later, but I'm happy that you're here, that you've chosen to look up what we do. You are absolutely welcome to join us for however much you would like to be involved. And if you're not ready right now to jump into actually participating in any of these projects, feel free to continue to follow us. And if any of this information is helpful to you, or you can learn about something that's going to help you fund your education, that's a win, right? So thank you for everything that you're doing. Stay safe. Everyone wear masks, and hopefully we'll be able to meet in person soon. Bye.